Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of QuakeLive Plays. It's episode 7. We have a blood run game on our hands. It's Evil versus Cypher. I felt like it would be a pretty nice mix to actually have a blood run game. I haven't actually casted in my QuakeLive Plays episodes all the maps yet, so that should be, I think, a priority. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I feel like it's a cool map because it's Evil's best map. Cypher is notoriously good here as well. Of course, it's Cypher. So let's just dive into this. I, again, have not seen this one, so I have no idea what to expect. We'll just go with the flow, play it by ear, and do some analysis. So here we are. Evil's point of view. The game has started. He gets the yellow and the mega. Okay, so he spots his opponent's Cypher going for that red, picking it up, and Cypher's going to back away and get that yellow plasma. So this is a really good position for Evil, by far the better spawn. He's going to be able to get the railgun and then the LG, and then he's going to be able to abuse this weapon advantage. I mean, watch this. Shards going to get LG now. And he's got two choices here. Does he go up the jump pad to intercept Cypher or not? I mean, he's got loads of time. He can also assume that Cypher doesn't have a rocket launcher yet, so it might even be better for him to go to the other yellow first over here and maybe even rocket jump up. But he can hear Cypher above with the plasma gun. And so he's got two options again. In fact, he has a bunch of options. He could actually just go through the teleporter at rail, go through, and he could also go through the teleporter in front that we can see on the screen right now. He could go and rocket jump up from yellow. He could go up the stairs to the shotgun area or through the shards to the grenade platform. He can attack through many, many different routes. Which is the best choice? Well, that's really the question, but all of the choices actually work. And the reason they all work is because he's got a huge weapon advantage and he's got a little bit of stack advantage as well. So let's see what Evil picks and then kind of break it down, his choice. So he actually waited to see whether Cypher was going to go there to pick up the rocket launcher. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to come out and deal damage. So he's not really directly thinking of the next red spawning and positioning for it. What he's thinking about is let's just constantly be abusing Cypher, which is a great way to think about this. To get any little bit of damage he can. He knows that he can bully Cypher off and hits a little bit, well, quite a lot of damage there. Picks up the next yellow. And now, okay, he's like, okay, so this is actually quite beautiful by Evil. I really like this. So he picked up the yellow. Now he's in a spot where Cypher's kind of forced to rocket jump for the red armor because he needs to get a big item. He cannot leave it up. So now Evil's in a position where he either will pull out the rail or the LG, and he's going to get some guaranteed damage here with the LG. But I don't know if it's not so guaranteed with the railgun because he might miss. So LG is a good choice, but it depends how quickly he comes in. So let's see. He's only got 42 cells. Let's see how much damage he does with the LG. He does pull out the LG first. You have to switch to the railgun soon, but okay. Okay, so I'm going to explain what happened there. So, because now the situation switched around heavily into Cypher's favor, and in what seemed like nothing. So what happened there was Cypher was shooting rockets down. Evil at first was LGing up to Cypher's position, and he's like, okay, I don't have much LG ammo, and Cypher's not coming out, so I have to switch to another weapon. So do I choose rocket or do I choose rail? Now, a read that you can make, it's not really a metagame thing, it's kind of it's hard to really explain it. It's not something. It can just happen either way. It can be that Cypher chooses to just stay and hide there. So if he stays in, like, I'm doing a crouching thing here. If he stays and crouches there and hides for a bit, and to time his escape and time it with regards to Evil's shots and what weapon he has out and so on, and listening for the switch of weapons so he can go, okay, I can jump across safely now. If he's waiting like that, then the rocket can be really nice, because, which is what Evil chose, because he can shoot the rocket at the corner and it can actually almost direct hit Cypher and do a lot of damage. So and also forces Cypher off of that platform. But the thing is that Cypher had actually peeked out in the moment that Evil switched the rocket and hit rockets of his own onto Evil. And then as he was jumping down, he actually hit more rockets as Evil missed his shot. So all of a sudden, Cypher's done a lot of damage. So it completely turned the situation around from huge favor for Evil. And now, because of the cool execution from Cypher, he's now going to be in a great position to take this mega. So there you go. Very long-winded there, but it was a key moment at the start. And brilliant rockets from Evil, but not quite good enough. And this is a POV demo, so we're going to be on Evil the entire time, which is great, I think. It's good either way. And so off the spawn, he's just like, what can I get? He goes for the shards first, because he wants also to get the railgun. And if you look at the shards there's 30 armor and shards. So if you think about the trade, they already had a rocket launcher. So it's either a rocket launcher and 50 armor, or rocket launcher, railgun, and 30 armor. So I think that the railgun is worth that 20 armor deficit that he chose to pick up initially there. He also gets this LG, has position to get the LG. So now he actually spots Cypher jumping through. Cypher not having the timing on that yellow, it's not going to be able to make it. So right here, Cypher's going to try to pressure a little bit because he knows that Evil is going to try to pressure the red armor from this position. He does miss all of his shots in this span, which is somewhat normal. And now we have this position again where Evil's below. He's got all the weapons, and Cypher shouldn't really be able to get onto the mega health from that position. Ah, okay, Cypher waited a long time. That's not so common. You sometimes see people wait at the teleporter a bit then peek out, but he actually waited quite a while there. Evil was fooled, I was fooled, and you can see Cypher came on with a lot of damage there. So this is actually a great move from Cypher. It really changes everything. And Evil, okay, so this is a blood run thing again. So Evil doesn't know how committed Cypher is to this aggression. Because if we think about this from Cypher's perspective, Cypher's thinking, if I jump in there, I'm actually risking dying. Because if Evil hits very good defensive rockets around the corner, then Cypher, even with a stack advantage, could be risking death. And that's a play which is risky early on in the game when Cypher is in a position where he's got a bit of an advantage. So you don't usually want to throw away advantages. So Evil, knowing this fact, was like, okay, I can either stay here and be true to that scenario, or I can just basically punish Cypher's indecision or unknowingness of the situation by just instantly going through the teleporter straight to the red armor. And that's exactly what Evil's doing. And this actually can catch people quite off guard sometimes. And there you go. Cypher did eventually go through the teleporter, but you can see now this is actually somewhat advantageous for Evil. He picks up the shards. Evil actually falls back onto the shards. I feel like he could have stayed out to actually deal damage to, because Cypher was in choke points. But he's going to, okay, so he's going to go around, and you can see why this is a problem now. Because Evil pushed himself out of position for both items, and he's not certain in either scenario what Cypher's going to go for. So doing this leaves him without many options to get the items. Because Cypher, if he picks this up, he can just get the red and just ignore this. Ignore committing to a fight here. Take the mega, get out of there, get the red, get a yellow, then take a fight. And in fact, Evil kind of committing there. So I really think this is a mistake from Evil. But Cypher capitalizing. So we have Evil off the spawn again. So off the spawn, he's like, okay, I just don't want to die. Okay, sneakily waits for Cypher to go past, which is good. Now is the timing on that mega and that yellow armor. Gets himself the lightning gun. So weapons are always a concern off the spawn. You got to try and give yourself as much weaponry as possible. And he's not going to be able to get the railgun yet. It's a very exposed position, but he does manage to get to this yellow. So what is his plan looking like now? Well, his plan is more or less, I need to get to 150 armor, and I need item times, and I need to, like, he's not super concerned about dealing damage, because although damage is really, really nice, on a map like this, your damage can sometimes put you in more of a risky position than it can in a beneficial one. If you take a map with less resources overall, for example, Hectic, the idea, or Aerowalk, the idea is to deal damage all the time, and even trade deaths for it, because on those maps, there's not many resources for the other player, so every time you deal 80 damage, every 25 seconds, he might be able to get some of that back, maybe 80% of that back if you're continually dealing damage, but it's not really guaranteed. Here on Blood Run, if you hit one rail every 25 seconds to 50 seconds, it doesn't really mean doesn't even put a dent in the guy in control. It doesn't even do anything. So you actually want to prioritize being able to get safe pickups and forcing them, if they want to take a fight, to taking a really bad fight. So that's the kind of idea behind a standard play on Blood Run. So here you can see he just manages to get the shards, which is great. Doesn't pick up that last one, which is bad Evil. I would slap him on the wrist for that if he was sitting next to me. But Cypher, he actually catches Cypher out of position on the red armor, and this is a brilliant result because he can just, like, if he's worried about taking damage here, he can basically go, this is actually an interesting idea. I respect Cypher enough to always hit this rail when I'm dropping, that I'm going to rocket jump to make the rail really, really difficult, and I'm guaranteeing taking damage myself, but the damage is always going to be less than the rail. So that could be an option here. Doesn't do it because Cypher had the LG out, perhaps. I'm not sure why, but it is an option there and something to think about. Okay, so here we have him just trying to stack up. There you go. He's got the 150, 160 that is kind of the key now that he needs. He might even decide to cycle back around to the shards. Okay, he's going to try. Okay, he's going to try an ambush here on the tele exit. it's rare that the player in control will so blindly go through that. And wow. So Cypher was trying to catch Evil at plasma yellow before the red pickup. Evil had position on him and hit great opening rockets. Now Cypher's in a lot of Cypher's in a lot of trouble here. Evil as well, because one rocket we can see will actually kill him at this point. But whoa, yeah, that's high level Quake for you. Goes down to the execution off of a very close situation. All of a sudden, Evil getting on the Mega straight away with the understanding of when it was going to spawn. He manages to turn the game around and tie up the game. So very good stuff from Evil there. And I can already see this is going to be a long video, but it's blood run, so it's kind of expected, but I think that's okay. Can split it into 2 parts or something. So there you go. With 2 minutes 40 seconds in, it's a tied game, and Evil hasn't solidified control yet, but that's what he's thinking about. Any free damage is really, really good, but right now he's thinking about maintain position, get items. If an opportunity comes to take a kill that's really easy and doesn't cost him any damage, he's going to do it. And look at this. So right there, he hit maybe like 15 cells, which were unreturned. So that's like well over 100 damage. So he knows that Cypher has to have between like 50 and 75 health left. So it's quite an easy decision just to drop and finish the kill. Oh, beautiful air rocket there from Evil. And you can see he's really executing now, and Cypher's really getting punished. Oh my god, that was disgusting. Wow. Okay, so this is, again, kind of an execution thing. So, I mean, it's basically what good players can do. On the way to taking really good items and applying pressure, they just have an amazing damage output. So there you go. You see Cypher hits the rail. And the reason why I'm kind of like going, oh my god, kind of with this kind of stuff is that Cypher's position is already so bad that Evil off the spawn got 2 quick frags, and with rails like that, really delays his opponent massively in a comeback attempt, because we can see the idea is to get that 150 armor-ish to try and take that fight. And really, if you want to go back and look at the fight that Evil took, it's really kind of the ideal situation that you're looking for in that spot. Find a spot where you hit the first rocket. That's what it's about. So, and that's what Evil found, and you can see it's very close, but he managed to win that fight. And now it's all about running items, cutting Cypher off, playing the war of attrition. Cypher's playing from behind, although the deficit in frags doesn't come too heavily into play just yet because of the fact that there's so much time left. There's 6 minutes left, so it's not, the clock isn't too heavily against Cypher right now. One frag could give him a spawn frag and then tie up the game. So Evil's just taking all the major items, and he knows, so okay, this is the level of play also where Evil knows exactly what an out-of-control player wants to do, what he's trying to do, of course, at this level that's expected. So what is he going to do to try and stop Cypher from trying to come do things like this? He needs to basically, with this 200-200 stack, he needs to deal some long-range damage or mid-range damage, non-committed damage, and then find a spot where he can just charge at Cypher and just gun him down. That would be really ideal. You don't want situations like this, whereas, I mean, that could have turned into, if Cypher had hit a perfect rocket there, could have turned into 180 damage. So you've got to be really careful about this against high-level players. And even I'm just baiting around that pillar. Very old-school trick. Fuki used to do that a lot, just hiding around that pillar, picking up the shards. So everything's spawning very soon, and he was very aware of this. Now, if he really needed a frag, which he doesn't, he could make a very interesting play here. He can basically bait the red and pretend like he's going for the mega, and Cypher's going to go, oh, free red. I know when mega's spawning, and he's going to always take the mega over the red, almost always. So I'm going to jump on this red, and then Evil will catch him. But Evil, hanging around for the last possible second, didn't want to risk anything, wanted to play it safe, and then drops to the mega. So really a perfect play from Evil there to assure himself all of the items. And there is the pickup of the red as well. So Cypher's disappeared from the map. We know that he's probably on 1 yellow every 25 seconds right now. Evil's just trying to locate him. And there you go. Cypher trying to get that awesome defensive rocket damage. But every time you do this, you can see you do risk-taking damage. So it can be a very frustrating, very difficult position to play from. But let's see if Cypher can manage to do what Evil did. So Evil just running items. And if you're a new player, then... Oh, Cypher going to go for the play here. And you can see he actually managed to build up enough armor to actually make that play. But the thing is that play hinges, absolutely hinges on him taking the Mega mid-fight. That was what he was going for there. And it almost worked. The problem was that he got bounced off. So another death for Cypher. The 5-minute mark, pressure off the spawn. A lot of damage there. And right now we're going to see the same situation. Might take another few minutes for Cypher. Okay, Evil with a read there. Cypher's going to go for the LG very quickly and manages to catch him. So it's pretty simple right there. In Cypher's shoes, what do you do? It's very difficult to say without watching his POV directly, but at the same time, Evil is just going to continue to run this control. So I'll try to pause a little bit less during this control phase, this heavy control phase from Evil. And you can see, okay, you can hear Cypher below, and what he's thinking right now is keep taking items. He doesn't have to complicate the game right now. He doesn't have to rely on reads. Reads are a risk. Reads are a risk because it's a read or a player read is saying, okay, I'm going to go on some information that I predict you will do based on what you've done before or what I feel about your game will happen in the future. And that's what I'm going to bank on. So you're banking on an estimation, on a prediction, whereas Evil can play the game of absolutes right now, of certainties. What's certain, what's absolute? That the Mega is spawning every 35 seconds, that the red is spawning every 25 seconds. So take the items, and if Cypher comes to you, deal damage back to him. And because every time, even if Cypher gets free damage on you, if you keep picking everything up, every time you get damage on him, it's much worse for him. Every time you do damage to him, it delays him another 25 seconds for his comeback attempt, as it were. So Evil just has to play it simple, keep it, the KISS rule, the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what Evil is going for right now. Just keep running control. Don't get caught in any stupid situations. Take all the items. And ouch. Yeah, that's painful for Cypher. So if Cypher can't do anything by the 8th minute, I'll close the video off because we've seen a lot of interesting stuff already. And yes, you can see that running control, it's very hard to break on Blood Run if it gets so strong like this. And you can we saw how Evil broke it also. So Cypher now dying a couple of times, a bit needlessly, getting caught when Evil came out that teleporter. Just very unfortunate death there. And that death for Cypher was a little bit kind of it's I don't know really what to say about it. It really didn't feel like Cypher should have ever have been there, but Evil's still at 200, running the items perfectly. This is something you can even practice. In fact, this is something I used to practice in the OSP days. Just go onto an empty server, even when you're waiting for an opponent or something. Practice timing and running all the items and pretending that you're in control. And that's something that can be very beneficial to your control game. Give you a really good feel of give you a sixth sense for when the items are going to spawn, because the good players, they do have great timing, but sometimes they're not timing the items. They just know patterns so well, and they know the rhythm so well that they just step on it and it spawns, and that's just through feeling. And a lot of good players can do that. So Cypher still without his comeback attempts. And there he is, going on to the red armor. And Evil with that lightning gun that he's so well known for, doing a lot of damage. So it's a 92 scoreline here. It's unrecoverable for Cypher at this point. So I'm going to close out the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope it was somewhat educational. And remember to leave me feedback and spread the videos around if you enjoy them. Spread them around to others, your friends, and let me know what your friends think. And I'll try to improve everything, and I'll try to keep bringing these videos out as much as I can. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. So GG, and that's it from me.